Welcome to the Journey to Pelvic Health, Week 2, Module 1, The Science of Pain. I wanted to introduce myself a little bit more and explain why this program means so much to me. This is me and my fiance in British Columbia. We moved here from Ontario in 2019, and we live with our cats, Mellow and Bowser. We do our best to explore this incredible province, and I can do that with more ease now that I've found pain management strategies that work for me. I can ride a bike, I can go for hikes, and I can say yes to more plans with other people because I'm more confident my pain won't get in my way as often. As an endometriosis warrior, most of my life I've been impacted by the pain and effects of chronic pain. It has taken me over 15 years to find pain management that works and helps me live a full life with endo. It's always a work in progress, but I've found great strategies and I had to share them with you so you can find relief, coping tools, and maybe a new perspective on your pain. My hope is that I can assist you in living well with endo, and my promise is that you'll find valuable information here. So let's get to it. Endo yoga was created from the need for a support system and a desire to educate others. The information I'm sharing is filled with details, tools, and methods I've used and continue to use on a regular basis. The path of chronic pain is challenging, but you don't have to feel alone. Everything we'll cover is filled with tools you can use alongside your treatments on a daily basis and can be applied no matter if you're at home, at work, or at the gym. So let's look at what this entails. This program has divided into 7 weeks and 6 modules. Each week will uncover a different topic and learn how it relates to the experience of pain. You'll then get homework assignments in the form of a worksheet, a meditation, a yoga video, a reading assignment, or any combination of those. You'll get the new content each Monday evening, and you can review the information at your own pace. An email will be sent on Monday, and you can review the information at your own pace. An email can be sent on Monday with the links to the details, and all the content will be available to you for 6 months. As an endo thriver and migraine maiden, I can still get unpredictable interruptions to my schedule. If I have been impacted and I'm not able to meet the Monday deadline, I'll do my very best to let you know as soon as I know what my limitations are. This also means that Monday evening is a flexible term and highly depends on when I'm able to accomplish tasks each Monday. As we move along, I'm incredibly grateful for your patience and understanding in this. Now, as we look ahead, let's review each module more briefly. In this module, we'll cover the biology of pain and why it matters. Module 2 will review how meditation changes the brain and reflect on what this means for chronic pain specifically. We'll add more to these ideas in Week 3 as we reveal the many areas of life that influence pain. Week 4, we'll take a closer look at why movement is necessary for pain and the specific poses and movements you'll want to incorporate for pelvic floor pain management. Week 5, we're diving into how the words we think and speak matter in our journey to health and living well with chronic pain. And then finally, in Week 6, we visit the idea of setbacks and see what working towards pain management is a dance of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 5 steps forward, 1 step back, and we look at how to be okay with that and how to prepare for those step back moments. For now, let's start at the beginning. Welcome to Module 1, The Science of Pain. In this module, we will review expected outcomes, pain, acute versus chronic pain, and then dive into the types of chronic pain. We'll look at the biology or science of pain to learn how that works. We'll take a close look at the nervous system and those effects on the body. And then we'll look at the role of pain education, how that supports pain management. And then at the end, we'll review assignments and reading materials for this week. Your outcomes. So by the end of this module, hopefully you'll understand the purpose of pain and the biology behind it. Learn why endo pain is considered chronic. Understand how the body responds to chronic pain. see the relationship between chronic pain, mood, and brain function, learn pain description techniques, use a mindfulness practice to support pain education. Now, at this point in your endo journey, you've probably spent years being frustrated, angry, scared, or anxious about your pain, or any combination of those. It's completely understandable. Pain is only supposed to happen occasionally, often quickly, and with an expiration date. Pain, when it's healthy, happens and then goes away. You stub your thumb, you break a limb, or have surgery, and each time the function of pain ideally should happen the exact same way. It arrives, it tells you what your body needs, it heals, and then it passes. When pain doesn't function this way, as a gradual fading into nothingness, but it continues for longer than 3 months, it's considered a chronic condition, especially when pain becomes part of the illness or the illness itself. Let's look at that closer. So pain is an important part of our functioning body. It tells us when there's something we need to pay attention to so we can either react quickly or seek help. The biological pain functions like so. So this person in our image accidentally touches a hot stove. The temperature sensors in their hand notice the change in temperature and send that information through your nerves up the spinal cord to the brain. The brain interrupts the information, makes a plan, and then sends directions back down through the spinal cord, through the nerves to the hand, telling the hand to move away from the hot stove, therefore allowing the person to move their bodies to the sink so they can run cold water onto their hand. Depending on the severity of the burn, the feelings of discomfort and pain could last a couple of hours or a couple of months. In a well-functioning pain system, the pain will eventually go away and generally within that 3-month window. Chronic pain is what happens when pain persists beyond the recovery period. Acute versus chronic pain. These are two styles of pain. Acute pain is an adaptive response that protects us from further damage following some injury or infection and is expected to subside long before tissue healing is complete. This is in the example of our person who burnt their finger. Ideally, that pain is quick and will eventually go away. Chronic pain, on the other hand, is pain that has persisted for more than 3 months and is associated with significant emotional distress and or functional disability. There are 7 types of chronic pain: chronic primary pain, chronic cancer pain, visceral chronic pain, chronic neuropathic pain, chronic post-surgical and post-traumatic pain, chronic headache and orofacial pain, chronic musculoskeletal pain. And the most commonly experienced pain with endo, adeno, PCOS, and other conditions of the reproductive system and surrounding organs include chronic primary pain. So this is pain in one or more anatomic regions that persists or recurs for longer than 3 months and is associated with significant emotional distress or significant functional disability. Conditions that fall into this category include fibromyalgia, complex regional pain syndrome, chronic migraine, irritable bowel syndrome, and nonspecific low back pain. Additionally, in the case of endometriosis, this would be pain that arises but cannot be directly linked to the endometriosis itself. Secondly, we have visceral chronic pain. In the case of endo, adeno, and PCOS, these diseases' effects on chronic pain can be seen throughout this definition. Now, this is a big definition, and I want to unpack its meaning by highlighting 4 key parts. First, it states that pain receptors are located in the muscles that surround the organs. So, let's say there's an endometrioma on the ovary. That means the surrounding tissue and muscle are what sense a change in the physical shape and feel of the ovary, which then sends signals of pain. Secondly, hyperaglesia. This is an increased sensitivity to painful stimuli, meaning that something which has started as not so painful can increasingly become worse over time because our exposure to it makes us more sensitive to pain, which then increases the intensity of pain the next time it occurs. Thirdly, it states that the causes of the pain can also be multi-layered. Things like inflammation, compression, traction, etc. can all combine as different and multiple reasons for the pain felt in addition to the disease. And finally, a really important piece, the intensity of the symptom may bear no relationship with the extent of the internal damage or stimulation, meaning someone with one cyst on an ovary, for instance, or has endo or adeno at stage 1 and 2, they could feel severe and debilitating pain, whereas someone who has multiple cysts on both ovaries or is at stage 4 endo-adeno could feel little or no pain at all. The severity of the disease then does not dictate the level of pain that someone feels. And post-surgery chronic pain. This is pain that develops after a surgical procedure or a tissue injury and persists at least 3 months after surgery or tissue trauma. Surgery with endo-adeno PCOS is incredibly common, as you know, and because the body is already on high alert through chronic pain, it's important to know that pain can persist as a result of surgery. So if you're coming up to surgery, make sure you're prepping your body for a calm state, for gentle movement, and for a successful recovery. In fact, the techniques we highlight in these modules will also support pre- and post-surgery care. It's important we highlight the nervous system in chronic pain as it plays an integral part of pain response and pain information. As we saw with our hot stove example, part of the nervous system's job is to keep us protected. It does this by filtering information and sending signals to the brain so it can be processed. We then act by putting on more layers when we're cold, for instance. We eat when we're hungry, we sleep when we're tired, and we also respond when we're being alerted to danger. The autonomic nervous system is divided into 2 functioning systems. So you have on one side the sympathetic nervous system, or SNS. This is the system responsible for putting the fight, flight, and freeze responses into action, which are meant to enhance your survival and keep you safe. This is considered the alarm bell of our nervous system. On the other side, you have the parasympathetic nervous system, or PNS. This controls the overall homeostasis and the body's rest and digest responses, and I like to call this one the Zen signal of our nervous system. And when both of these systems are working together, they support and maintain an overall healthy body. Now, chronic pain puts stress on the body, and the longer we're in pain, the more the sympathetic nervous system responds as if it were in danger. The alarm bell keeps going off, so the nervous system begins to react to a body in a constant or regular state of stress because it's doing what it's meant to do. It's sounding the alarm to the pain stimulus and trying to get it solved. Looking at the chart on the far right, you can see how the body automatically responds when in that fight, flight, or freeze response. These are the functions that the SNS is responsible for. Now, if this state is kept up for a long time, which happens during chronic pain, this starts to negatively impact the body, and you can see how on the left side of the chart. A body under stress with an active sympathetic nervous system is eventually going to experience things like anxiety, problem sleeping, fatigue, feeling jumpy, increased heart rate, increased emotions, or an inability to regulate emotions, lack of patience, and even increased pain. As the body stays in this state of stress, the brain is also chemically and physically affected. When the sympathetic nervous system activates the fight, flight, or freeze response, it slows down the brain's frontal cortex and alerts the instinctive parts of the brain to be more alert and responsive. So for example, the limbic system, which is responsible for movement, will be more decisive to run or freeze as needed, while the frontal cortex gets less attention. The frontal lobe is responsible for processes and tasks called executive functions. These include things like impulse control, time management, attention and focus, and more. During a dangerous encounter, for example, someone needs to remove themselves from a dangerous situation, it makes sense that the logical thinking and planning part of the brain is less valuable than the part of the brain that will make someone run faster, decide quicker, and give them the stamina to get somewhere safe. However, with chronic pain, this heightened response has been active for more than 3 months, meaning the high alert nervous system has been hijacking the tasks and processes that are so valuable to daily living, working, going to school, and just getting things accomplished. So chronic pain interferes with focus and concentration, it reduces the ability to learn and retain information, and it can create gaps in memory and cognition. There's another area of the brain that's important to understand when it comes to chronic pain, the amygdala. The name amygdala is derived from the Greek word meaning almond, which speaks to their almond-like shape. The two of them are located in the medial temporal lobe, shown in this the left-hand side of the screen. So along with the nervous system, the amygdala also activates the fight or flight response. The amygdala helps to store memories of events and emotions so that an individual may be able to recognize similar events in the future. For instance, if someone suffers a dog bite, then the amygdala process that, assign the thought and behavior to the event, and if those thoughts are, I should be afraid of dogs and keep my distance, then their fear and alertness around dogs increases. And this process can develop and strengthen what's called a pain loop or a pain cycle. For example, in Adeno and PCOS, pain often arrives with periods. As that pain happens more often, the amygdala associate periods with pain, and a memory is created that states, when I get my period, I'm going to feel pain. So, next upcoming period already has that association attached, and the worrying thoughts might be, my period is coming, this is going to be painful. This then can signal the nervous system and the amygdala to brace for anticipated pain, which can then create anxiety and fear around that anticipated pain, which can then create more experienced pain. As you can see, chronic pain is complex and it has lots of side effects, and even though it directly affects the changes the brain over time, this change is not permanent. The most valuable lesson pain education can teach you is twofold. First, at the foundation of any pain experience lies your body's intuitive response to keeping you safe and healthy. It wants to protect you. And two, chronic pain is a learned response, a learned behavior. Therefore, it can change. You can change your chronic pain. Meditation and relaxing the nervous system are big pieces to this, and we'll dive into that deeper next week when we review how meditation affects pain and perception. Experiencing pain on a consistent or frequent basis can create the sense that there's no control, that you're at the complete mercy of pain and its effects. There's a significant amount of evidence that demonstrates you do have the ability to affect and control aspects of your pain, so you can affect it with great results. People who learn about the science of pain and pair that with coping strategies and treatments can significantly influence their pain, from reducing it to eliminating it completely or any variation in between those. It starts here, and the understanding that the role of pain is to protect you, to help you heal by getting the support you need. When you consider its primary function and that it's systematically built to keep you safe, there's an opportunity to see pain with kindness. We'll address this concept further in Module 5, Language and Perception of Self. For this week, we're starting with a key learning. Knowing how pain functions can help you understand it, and therefore makes it more approachable. And if you can approach it with curiosity, you can work on making it better. Pain starts biologically, so getting to know your pain with a curious mind is how we'll tackle the homework and put the lessons into practice. Your homework will help you understand and review how your pain affects you, what response patterns you might have with pain, and what qualities your pain has. Your homework for this week includes a pain observations worksheet. You'll do things like write down descriptors of your pain, either with words or colors. You'll jot down the severity of the pain that you've experienced on that pain scale, 0 to 10. You'll map your pain and the location, where it moves, what helps it feel better, what makes it feel worse, as in how you're positioned or hot or cold, etc. You might even want to write down physical reasons and effects of that pain. For example, you know physically you have an endometrioma on your right ovary. You'll want to write down emotional reasons and how you're affected by your pain, either by feelings, thoughts, and emotions that come up while you're reviewing this. I'm going to include an emotional wheel because sometimes the words can escape us or we're not really sure how to describe it. If words aren't your thing, you can also use colors. So if something feels blue or red or green, you can use colors as well. And if you've decided to get the reading material, The Way Out by Alan Gordon, then this week I encourage you to read chapters 1 and 2 as an introduction to chronic pain and learning more of the science behind it, but also how you can affect change. As you progress through the course, I really encourage you as well to stay in touch with me. Reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I will answer them as soon as I'm able. You can send a DM on Instagram or even Facebook, or send me an email if you have a longer set of questions that you kind of need some conversation over. If you've opted for the hybrid option, you can find available time slots for your private sessions at the link shown here. And once you see an in-person date that fits you, please email me the date and I'll register you for the session so that you're not charged for it. Otherwise, keep up the amazing work and we'll see you next week.